I've learned to understand my emotion.
Yeah.
As an investor, you have to learn is whenever there is like a panic, fear in me. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, like everything is telling me to run away, but I disagree with. So you do a little bit of research and then you make the execution. And it's like, you know what? It's time to buy.
Don't let one mistake become bigger than life. Don't let it drain you. That is a very important part.
It's true. When people tell me, it's like, no, but if you realize it, then you make a loss. And it's like, yo, you made a loss already. The money's gone.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to buy it. You know what I mean?
Very good definition I once learned about earning money is that you earn money is based on the value that you create. So I try to create value to people. And there are many different ways.
Here we have Vic's Gold of her family knows her, Catalina Noreña.
Perfecto. Catalina Noreña Valderrama.
Facing returns, 36.4% returns in the last 2 years. You are actually up and profitable this year, which not many popular investors can say.
No.
You're beating the S&P 500 for sure this year. You're beating me for like guaranteed. 1.1K copiers and 23.7 followers. I mean, you've amassed a massive following on eToro.
That means that people like my style, or at least if they come here is because they are finding something interesting, which is exactly what I want to do.
Awesome. Oh, I saw one of your latest posts. You don't consider yourself a bull or a bear. You're the dolphin of the markets. That's super cool. That's a very different perspective, you know. But believe it or not, I do see myself a little bit in that, you know. It makes a lot of sense. You swim around the currents. You don't pay attention to like the big trends and the big waves. You stick to your routine, you stick to your methods, and you get through, which is fantastic. But we're definitely gonna get later in the episode in the steps and everything. But I want to know a little bit about you.
All right.
So you're from Colombia.
Yes, sir.
I read a couple of your posts where you spoke about your history and the reason you got started, and I want to hear it from you directly from the source. So tell me what was the spark that led you down this route?
Well, the first spark will be my dad, definitely. My dad, he studied economics, actually agroeconomics. So economics applied to countryside and to
agriculture, I would
horticulture and farming and all these. And he always loved a lot that part. He is actually from Medellin. Right now I'm in Medellin because I have a big family in Medellin. And he always loved both the countryside and also nature, but also economics. So we were a family that was very much into both things. And something that we did every Sunday is that he purchased the newspaper in Colombia, like similar to US and many other parts. You have the Sunday newspaper that is a lot thicker, a lot bigger, with a lot of information. And there was a big economic section. The name of the newspaper is El Tiempo. In El Tiempo, I am so sorry, there is some noise in the background. Apologies for that. Anyway, so what we did is that we bought El Tiempo is the name of the newspaper. We got together in the floor because Barranquilla, we were living at that point in time, is extremely warm. So many times you sit on the floor. And we spread out the newspaper and he started to explain to me everything, different how do you call it, the different indicators, what was this, what was that. So he started to explain a lot the concepts, and he started with me since I was very, very little. And actually, talking about very little, the first thing that he did, and I made a post about it actually last year for Father's Day, received a lot of beautiful comments, is something called El Mercadito. El Mercadito is that he let me do my own grocery shopping, and he was super sweet because I had a little Hello Kitty tin box, and he told me, okay, Cata, I give you this budget, X amount of money, and that time was like 500 pesos, something very small. And he told me, okay, you can get as many candies as you want, but it has to fit that tin box. It cannot be bigger than that. And it will fit you for 1 or 2 months. Every time he changed the timing. So that way I needed to be quick on my feet on planning. And that was all the candies that I was going to have for the next 1 or 2 months. If I wanted.
Okay. High stakes.
Yeah.
High stakes.
Yeah. And if I wanted to keep it for eat it all in one day, my problem. If I wanted, so I also had to manage time. It taught me to manage a lot of different things. So yeah, that was, I think, my dad was definitely the person that got me into finance, into economics. My mom actually wanted me to be a lawyer, not to be a person in finance, but he won the.
Well, that's the thing, they put in their votes and then you decide which one you get.
Absolutely,
That
absolutely.
is the beauty of parenthood. But that's a very cool story. For me, it was like my dad is an engineer,
Okay.
actually. Yeah, and then we actually like I'm an economist. Like all of his son, both my brother and sister went into different paths. But I started investing, and like all of my businesses and all of my ideas came through him. He was always the one sort of like backing my entrepreneurship gusto in a sense, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it was interesting. It's interesting what like the effect that parents can have very early on, and it's how that those skills compound in the long run. Okay, that's very cool. Pretty much walk you through the process of finance and investing, and then
Yes.
what are you doing now?
Well, I work in finance as a financial analyst for many years, and I always had a very strange hobby. Love to see. Well, I'm very good at writing, my friend says. Many times when people had something to write, they asked me to take a look at it or to help them. And one of those things was the CV, their CVs of people. And I always adored to see how people presented them. And of course, when I was trying to look for a job, the first time that I looked for a job was outside of my hometown. So I moved from Barranquilla to Bogota. At the beginning, I got a lot of rejections, and I realized, okay, there is something wrong about the way that I'm presenting my. So I changed the way that I was delivering my message, and when I changed that, I finally got a very nice job. Um, then later, when I lived in Belgium and I started to also look for a job, etc., it was even more difficult as a foreigner to find a nice job. I started to little by little create strategies to be good at my work. Then later on, it just started to become a hobby more and more. Whenever somebody had a CV, they knew that I liked reviewing them. They sent it to me. Yeah, I love that. I love that to see how people were doing things. So when I started to get a lot of acumen, I started to give more and more feedback to people why they should do this or that, improve this, change X, change Y. And one day somebody told me, why don't you charge? You're good. You're doing a very good job. And that is how it started. I said, yeah, why not? I started to do it as a side business, and later on it became big, and now it's my full time job.
Nice. So you
Actually,
oh sorry,
so no,
continue.
actually, in my day to day life, in both sides, I try to help people. In eToro, I try to help people make money, and as a career coach, I try to help people find a job. All my work actually is about helping others.
Nice. Nice. We're gonna get into what is your mission, like what is the purpose of waking up every day. But that's different segment. So make sure everybody watches until the end. But okay, that's very cool. So you are as professionally, then you would be like a laboral. Am I saying that
Yeah,
correctly?
a work coach of a um,
Okay. Labor. Okay. Yeah. Labor coach. Yeah. That sounds better. Okay. Nice. Okay. So
yeah,
you've always
yes.
okay, it's not up to par, and then you had to make yourself.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I remember when I started, my first job in Belgium was in actually in AB InBev in the consolidation department. The people in InBev, I was the only one that I was not a person with accounting background. I had my master in financial economics, but I didn't have an accounting background. All of the team, they used to be auditors coming from Big Four because it was the global headquarters, people that were putting together all the figures worldwide. And when I was in the interview, I saw that they liked me, but they were not very convinced about me. And it was an entry level. At the end, when they told me, hey, do you have a question for us? Decided to throw them a curveball And I say, look, I don't have questions, but I can see that you're not convinced about me. So, hey, I want you to give me a chance. I won't let you down. I really want to work here. And the lady smiled at me like, haha. And at that point, in that moment, I knew, okay, I did good. The next day, I got the job offer.
That's very good. That's really cool.
And yeah, I started to do a lot of crazy strategies. I tested a lot of stuff, and now I have more than 150 clients that I have helped. Throughout the years, I have established a very good methodology, and I'm also certified. I'm a certified CV reviewer and writer.
Well, we'll make sure to include all of the information so people can contact you in the description of the video, and I'll make sure to share all your socials and your eToro portfolio as well. Because so
That's
far you're
lovely.
doing great. Yeah, so far you're doing great. Definitely a really good portfolio to follow if in the current market sentiment. And I also saw a part of your interview with eToro as well. And it was a very interesting approach. I mean, you saw this before many people.
We have a saying in Colombia, de eso tan bueno no dan todos los días, of something so nice you don't get every day. That is something that is true. We have been through an extremely long, it will be absolutely naive for us to think that the music is going to continue the same way forever. I'm not saying that we're going to have a horrible recession or a horrible disaster or anything, but what I mean is that we also need to be more cautious. And I'm going to be very nerd right now, so please don't laugh. Do
That's
you know
okay.
in the Lord of the Rings when they say, I feel it in the air, I feel it in the water, just at the beginning when they're doing the introduction?
Mm-hmm.
Sense that there are things happening. But of course, you are not going to take financial decisions just based on sense. You have to take financial decisions based on numbers. And I am very big objective person that you cannot take decisions with feelings or with gut feeling. I'm totally against it. As Latina as I am, I know very well that you have to take that gut feeling helps you to give like an extra nod. That can only be an extra nod. It cannot be the driving force behind what you're doing. At least not for me.
Like, it's the initial feeling that it's like, okay, like something smells fishy here. Let's just start digging a little bit more. So it puts you at least in the right direction, and it's something to explore. Because I agree with you. Like, whenever you see a massive downturn in the markets and all of a sudden there's massive fear, I'm like, maybe I should have known, but I didn't. So now let's figure out exactly what is happening and how to adapt. During the
Exactly.
COVID pandemic, it was the same thing. Everybody started freaking out. The world's going to end. We're never going to see stocks anymore, and the reality was completely different. Right?
Pandemics pandemics are very normal in mankind. And that is why it's important to do research. I remember very well when COVID started. I remember like back in January, December, something like that. I told my colleagues out of his, hey guys, have you heard about this virus in China? And they all look at me like,
What are you
WTF?
talking about?
I'm a person that tries to look at news from very different outlets, but also I try to be very factual. And then I started to learn more about it. And hey, we had the Spanish flu 100 years. Every like 100 years, more or less, we get like a big pandemic. This is not the first time that, when we had COVID that something like this happened. And okay, it's difficult for a while. We move on as a society. When I saw this happening, I started to get ready on my portfolio, started to get ready personal life. Was able to get a face mask at a very, very good price because I purchased them in February, way before they became expensive. You have to just be open to signs because the signs are there. It's just that you need to be open to them and know how to read it and read it in a very calm way.
Yeah, I get you. I get you fully. Every single time, it's like I've learned to understand my emotions.
Yeah.
As an investor, you have to learn, and it's sometimes whenever like it's like, for example, like whenever there is like a panic, fear in me, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, like everything is telling me to run away, but I disagree with it. So you do a little bit of research and then you make the execution. It's like, you know what? It's time to buy, and
Yeah.
you learn this. And the thing is, like, you can read all the books you want.
Yeah.
But you gotta go through the motions. You gotta go through the steps. You gotta go through the crises to understand how you're. Because I think investing in itself, it's a battle against yourself more than
Yeah.
anything else. And yeah, there's research and everything that goes around it, but it's also against yourself a lot. So okay, so I want to understand a little bit about you. How do you look at the markets? What is the first thing you do when you're trying to open up a position or you're trying to maybe analyze a stock? Because I see a lot of ETFs in your portfolio.
Yeah. They're easy. They're easy. They are easy to manage. They are practical. I'm a big ETF fan. Yeah, they are very easy to manage. They're very organized. You can get a lot of information. ETFs are really fantastic tools. I prefer ETFs versus the actual stocks. They are a lot easier. Yeah, more practical. But what do I look in terms of the market? First of all, macroeconomics. I'm a big macro. Started with my dad, of course, but it started also in the sense that macroeconomics tells you a whole story, tells you a macro story. And at the end of the day, macroeconomics are heavily influenced by macro because, yeah, a company might be doing good, but look right now how certain tweets, exchange rate, how interest rates end up affecting the companies. Do you need to know what is happening in the company? Absolutely. You need to understand very well what is happening in the company that you're investing. But the first step for me is macroeconomics. So I look at the statistical information, look at different indicators that I find interesting, and I also have a little bit of personal indicators that change from time to time. So, for example, one indicator that is going to sound really funny to you, tells a lot on the economy. There is a, not exactly an index, but sort of about how much women are bleaching their hair. The thing is that bleaching is an extremely expensive procedure, and also you have to do it very frequently. When this starts to lower, that means you're preceding people spending less money. When people are spending less money, then people are taking care of their finances. That is a sign of be careful, be careful, be careful, especially in the US, an economy that people like to spend a lot. When you see people starting to be more careful with their money, you know that people are scared about the situation and they are starting to feel more uncertainty. Or, for example, when you open the news and you see the financial outlets giving very dramatic, hey, there is something cooking. So there are some things that are qualitative, sort of speaking, and there are other things quantitative, like in statistics. So basically, unemployment, what is happening with the unemployment? Because another thing that is very important with numbers is not all numbers are the same. You have to look at them in context. First question that actually I ask myself whenever something happens is why? For example, unemployment when is worse than expected. Why? More people are asking for unemployment money or less jobs generated. What is going on? What is the thing behind it? You need to know the why.
Yeah, for sure. I have a similar, like this is the economist in me because I also graduated economics in the University of British Columbia.
Okay.
It's the lipstick index, which means yeah. The lipstick index is if lipstick sales increase,
Yeah.
women are looking to feel like, it's like women are looking to feel pretty, but in a cheap way.
Fantastic.
Right? Yeah, my girlfriend just arrived. Sorry about that.
No.
The lipstick index is one where women want to feel good about themselves, so
Yeah.
they'll buy the cheap lipstick, and lipstick sales tends to go up before a major recession.
Wow.
So it's something to pay attention to. So ladies start wearing a lot more lipstick. It's like it could mean I like all of these tiny indicators that
Yeah, me as
sometimes they
well.
flash red. We were talking about it today in the market bus, where it's like you have the tangibles of a company, which is the financials, and then you have the intangibles. It's the assumptions that you make based on other factors outside forces that impact the investment that you're in. But that's very, very cool. Okay, so you're a macro person. I mean, like you are in my yeah. You are like me in like yeah. I love.
Yeah, no, and I like a lot the way you think on things. And with this lipstick stuff, first of all, now I feel horrible about my red lipstick.
No, it's fine. It's okay. It's okay. You know, like the thing is, it's like you see a drastic sale. You know, like a
Yeah,
drastic
yeah, yeah.
increase too. You know, but
It's
maybe
interesting also how that will turn into an economy, for example, like Colombia. You know that Brazil is the number one country in the world per capita that with the highest consumption of beauty and cleaning products, and Colombia is second. So here we really do spend a lot of money on this.
it's interesting. Yeah. Well, it's all like, for example, like the Big Mac index.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that. I just love how it just relates, you know, and how you can sort of derive knowledge and information out of this. What most people think of, maybe it's not important.
No, no, it's super important because all these signals, the thing is that a storm never comes along. It comes always with the small signals. And you have, do you know when rain comes and you start smelling?
Smell the rain? Yeah, I was about to say, storm comes when the smell begins.
So the same thing comes here. The same things come here in the sense that, hey, you want to make sure that you are looking at the whole picture. And that is what I try to be, to not to label myself neither a bull nor as a bear. Why? Because then that has an effect that is very strong in your psychology. In which sense that then you, since you identify either A or B, bull or bear, then you're going to try to identify yourself and to work in that sense. Oh, I'm a bull, so I'm
I need to
gonna
always buy, always buy.
exactly. I'm a bear. Oh no, I want everything to do bad. Markets are doing bad. Oh, that's fantastic. I try to not to identify one way or another. I try to just see what happens and try to be as the most Mr. Miyagi I can be about things. The more zen I can be about things, because I don't want any perceptions or any biases to have any effect on my decisions. That is something that I'm super, super concerned about. When people start to look at biases, or when people start to, oh, things are bad, let's buy more. But hey, things can always go worse.
It can always get worse. It can always get worse. For
Do you know that phrase? Buy when there is blood on the street. Hey, make sure that the blood is not yours.
it's true. It's very, very true. Very true. And with your portfolio, you can say that with conviction. You
Mm-hmm,
can say
mm-hmm.
that with conviction. That's very cool. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
nice. Okay, let me ask you this, right? What is a mistake? And this is just like a snap it, right? So whatever comes to mind. But it's like, what do you see new investors with all your experience? What do you see new investors? What are the mistakes they make?
The mistakes that they make is that they think that they have all the answers. No, when we had the eToro meeting last year, when I met you for the first time in the
Yeah.
UK, and we had Lord Fink coming, he said something that to me was one of the best things: is don't fall in love too much with your own ideas. When he said that, I thought that it was absolutely brilliant. Sometimes we fall too much in love with our own ideas, and that is something that happens, I think, to new investors. Hey, we're all learning, definitely, 100%. So if something is not working, don't stick too much. Learn the lesson, make a new mistake. Try to learn the lessons. Try to diversify, but diversify in a smart way. If you diversify by having 100 stocks, but all the stocks are in the same sector, you're not diversifying. So be smart about diversification, because a lot of people are not smart about it.
Yeah, like I say, like I have a saying, and it's like, in the stock market, a loss is only a loss if you don't learn from it. You know, it's only
Yeah,
tuition costs. You have to be willing. You're gonna come down. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna have positions that are gonna go in the red. Learn from them, understand why it happened, and
yeah,
go back to the drawing board. It
exactly.
will come to a point where it just get better.
Another
That's the
thing
truth.
that is important, that what you're saying is that another thing is that people say, oh, if it is a unrealized loss, it's not really a loss. My friend, go
No.
it can continue going down. Don't let one mistake become bigger than life. Don't let it drain you. That is a very important part.
It's true. When people tell me, it's like, no, but if you realize it, then you make a loss. And it's like, yo, you made a loss already. The money's gone.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to buy it. You know what I mean? Like, it can always, like you say, it can always go down. Like, me and Dimitri's fight on this point because he's like, no, 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 no. And I'm like, no, no. But I'll point to him. I'll point to that on the next episode with him for sure.
Yeah, no, because hey, sometimes people don't let a loss become bigger than life. That is so worrisome. My gosh, what is all this noise right now I'm having
The
around me?
Colombian,
I
the
know.
Colombian. No, that's okay. That's
Welcome to
okay.
Latin America, my friend.
It is the beauty of it, you know. It is the
Yeah,
beauty
yeah,
of
yeah.
it. So don't even worry about it. It's okay. Okay. All right. So let me ask you this. Why is the reason you're investing?
Yeah.
What is the reason you allow other people to copy you? Why do you share your information? Why do you share your information? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, I was telling you before, I'm an only child. Well, I don't have any brothers and sisters, and I'm also by nature extremely social person. So very early on, I realized, hey, if you want to play with people, you have to make friends. Otherwise, nobody's gonna knock at your. That opened up to me the social aspect. I really like being with people. I'm a very teamwork. Even in my job, all I do all day long is talk to people. I'm a coach. I talk to people all day long. It's fun about eToro. It was because actually I'm the opposite of most people. Most people in eToro, they didn't know much about investing, and then I started investing. For me, it was the opposite. I had a master in financial economics, but I work in as financial analyst, but I wasn't. I was only using like 1% of what I learned in my master, and I really wanted to use it. And my mom always gave me a hard time. Oh, you started that difficult master and all that for nothing. And I was like, yeah, and I started to save some money, and I wanted to use my money, and I found eToro, and I found it to be quite different than everything out there because it was social, and I thought, oh, this is cool. Then I feel less lonely. That is why I started doing it. Why do I share it with other people? Because I think that you have to pay it forward. I was very lucky that I had a dad and that I had a lot of friends that taught me things. For example, when I was doing the master, I was actually the only one without an economics background. I was a business administrator. I actually, when I signed in for the program, they changed the coursework. So it became really difficult and a lot more mathematical. So most of the time, I had sometimes a whole page that it was just Greek symbols. I wanted to cry. I received a lot of help from a lot of friends teaching me about all the math behind. I learned very early on how important it is to have mentors, both physical and metaphysical, in the sense that books, teachers, people, videos on YouTube where you learn. So I always wanted to kind of pay it forward a little bit. I thought that it was a nice opportunity. And also, when you're working with other people, you do enjoy to also enjoy what you're doing. I feel that is a huge other a burden. But if you do it with love, grow better.
Cop. All right. Cool. And then
I don't know if it was too hippie my answer.
no, I mean like no, it's good. I think it's just like for me, it's like I like to share. You know, it's like I got very lucky that I could go to like international school, and I went to like university, and like I'm more than happy. Like you know, it's like this knowledge, yeah, it's great, but I also would just like to share, and there's a selfish side up for it too, which is like I want to share because I want people to debate me, and I want
Okay.
to understand the other side. The reason I'm telling you is because I want you on like tell me now your side. Do you agree, disagree? What is happening? How are we going about this? What am I missing? As an investor, I think a lot of people, you know, it's like if you want to be a good investor, I find that you don't have to be the smartest in the room. You actually have to be the dumbest in the room because you're willing to ask questions and be wrong and understand what you don't know. In investing is very important to know when you don't know something because you can make a mistake very easily. So it makes total sense, you know, and sharing it forward for sure. I mean, like you're helping a lot of people. If you've managed to get because the thing is like it's hard enough to get somebody to hit that follow button on eToro, which is like putting you on a watch list, but it's even harder for people to put the money behind you, right? It's there are hard and cash, so it's a badge of honor in a sense of people being able to trust you in such a way. And I definitely agree with.
Think about it that way, definitely.
So it's
More for other people, to be quite honest. In the sense,
really
yeah, I do it because I very early on, when I started to look at eToro, I realized that there was not a good, not a good, it's not the right term, but there wasn't a one strategy that was more lower on the risk side. Most of the strategies that you saw out there, they're too much on crypto or too much on stocks, and the majority that they were on stocks, they were on the tech sector. So I realized that there was something missing. So of course, there are other stocks that I find interesting and everything, but I trade the way I trade because I also want to be a different option. I want to be the top of mind option in the platform for a lot of stability. And sometimes it might not be the sexiest strategy, especially in the years where certain stocks have crazy returns, but it's an important strategy. I say to everybody, to me, everybody in Toro should have a little bit of kata because it is a strategy that helps you have some cushioning when things go bad. And right now, I'm extremely happy about this year that not only I've been having good returns, but at the same time, low risk, very low risk. On the other hand, people that are investing with me, they know my style. I have been here for quite a long time. I don't get any harsh comments. I don't get any worrisome comments. People are calm when they are investing with me, and they have been calm over this whole storm this April.
I can imagine you've slept so good with your
Yeah.
portfolio. I can imagine you slept so good. I have my computer on with like my notification of my alarms on because I gotta be ready in case Trump says something crazy. So I would imagine right now you're relaxed. You know, it's like, oh, I just got my bonds. I'm happy. It's very nice. So let me ask you, do you consider yourself like a long-term investor or are you moving depending on
No,
the situation?
I move depending on the situation
Okay.
quite a lot, quite a lot.
So you're willing to
mean,
actively manage.
I am. I think that it's important to actively manage 100%.
Okay. All right, all right, all right. So that's very cool. So your mission is to share it forward and help other people as I'm getting it. And then so why are you building this? So because the thing is for investing is like, at least for me, I'll just give you like an example. For me to build freedom,
Yeah.
right? Investing allows me a different perspective with the money that I've already made. And it's like it allows for security and allows for capital growth and all of these different things. But for you, what is the thing why do you want to invest? What do you want to build an empire? I've always said the same thing. Do you want to build an empire? Do you want to, charitable cases? What is the goal from all of this?
Well, it's a very big question. If you ask me, you see the most successful people have multiple businesses. It's very rare to have really rich people. If you go to rich people, to people that you really look up, they very rarely have just one business. Most of the time, they have multiple businesses. And I think that that is something that I like. I want my Toro to be like a base for copiers and for myself. But of course, I want to continue building other business or things. Someday, of course, my idea is to continue growing on the platform. I want people to see the importance to have a strategy like mine. I know that I have to work more on doing the talking and to make more publicity, more marketing about my own strategy, because sometimes it's not that easy for people to see the importance of it, because I know that a lot of people want more excitement, they want cryptos, they want other things. It's also super important that when you're having these kind of moments that you can feel okay. And the problem is that to be able to manage difficult times is a muscle that you have to build with time. Yeah, that's what I try to provide.
Okay. No, I get you. It's very safe because I'm even seeing I'm even seeing in your portfolio, you have like volatility, like you have
Yeah,
the volatility index. So you're not like by no means like you are in risk. You have
yeah,
risk assets.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not just treasuries. It's not just defense. I even saw you shorted the S&P, which is like nuts. So it's like you do like a little bit of spice.
Yeah, of course, of course. That is the thing. I mean, I actively manage my portfolio. I don't stay in just one position, and I try to make sure that to keep things moving. I want to make sure, hey, I want to give stability. But otherwise, I just buy bonds, do nothing. I put a lot in work into moving along with the markets, seeing what is happening. Hey, in 2023, invested a lot in renewables, a sector that I knew very well. And when it ended the year, I stopped all my investment in renewables because I thought, okay, this is a tipping point for the industry. It's an industry that I knew quite well. So I really changed with time. What is the one thing that always stay the same way is me as a person. It's not doesn't matter that much the instrument. What matters is the person behind the instrument. The same person can have a NVIDIA and can be losing or gaining money. So the important part is not so much the instrument, is the investor behind. And yeah, my idea is that in the future to continue growing and to that people realize more and more, hey, it's a good idea to have part of my capital with this woman. Why not?
No, it's true. It's a super interesting portfolio. I'm not gonna lie. I took a couple of the tickers. You know what I mean? I took a couple of the tickers to my watch list. Because the
Okay,
thing was
okay.
like I've traded the VIX, you know, and I love trading the VIX because it's like it doesn't do anything until it does, and then it goes crazy. Oh, it's something that I was paying attention to, and for the longest time I was like down on a trade, and then I made my money back and even more with the
Mhm.
rate with the latest day. I was like, I'm out, I'm out. I don't want to touch the VIX no more.
No, the thing is that the VIX is a very, very complex instrument, and it plays a lot with your psychology. I don't know if you saw yesterday the webinar with.
I didn't. I forgot about it. I was supposed to join, but I forgot about it.
You should have. I was one of the panelists, actually. Yes, 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 yes,
No, is there a
yes.
recording? Is there a
I
recording?
think so. I think
Okay.
so.
If there's a recording, I would love it because yeah, I was gonna watch it. I was already paying attention, and then I just what did I do yesterday? I don't even know what I did yesterday. But okay, let me get you this. So let me try to get a little bit, you know, and this is for me.
Hmm,
Like
hmm,
I want to get a little bit of your outlook because you said
hmm.
renewables, right? So I'm guessing it's a sector yet you understand very well. How do you see the market sort of panning out right now
Right now, stay out of it. This is a sector that right now you have to be very careful of.
in renewables?
The thing is that renewables are necessary, but right now the sector is going through growing pains. The problem is that it developed way too fast. For example, offshore wind only exists 12, 13 years ago. There is no demonstration projects. And the problem is that the costs are starting to go down way too fast. Then you had oil companies entering, the prices went way too low. And then now everybody wants to have an offshore wind project for pennies, and it's impossible. So it has become very messy. Solar is doing good, but it is right now a messy sector, especially for offshore wind. Maybe solar is more interesting, but depends a lot of the location, the type of project, if it has batteries. So solar is depending.
Yeah. Right now, I'm paying attention to FSLR.
Okay, okay.
Like just because of the American tariffs, they are in a very good position to take advantage of both the AI revolution and the tariffs
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
situation, which seems like I've been first solo for a while now. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I like the stock, and then I'm into Nvidia, and I'm into the like the techs and all of
Yeah,
that
but
stuff. So what do you see the overall market? What's your macro picture?
the macro picture is that right now we're going to still be in a scenario. I'm more concerned, to be quite honest, as of September. What is going to happen as of September? When people return from summer holidays, we can really see the effect of tariffs, what is really going to happen with inflation. Right now, I think that the market is going to move a lot in the next coming months. And the big problem of the summer months is that you have less volumes and things can move even more. It was more that like a few years ago. Now it's less. Yeah, so September is where hold your horses, my friend. It's gonna be very interesting to see what is gonna happen.
Okay, so let me ask you this because I asked this to all of the guys in the market buzz. So in the bear bull scale for the end of the year, so 0 being super bearish, you're gonna be like asterisk, I'm a dolphin. You know what I mean? But
So
what's your sentiment if nothing was to change? Right?
Sadly, it's a very half and half. Depends a lot, but 2026, I see it really more bearish. 2026 for sure, I see it more bearish. 2025 depends a lot. It's gonna move all over the place.
No, I'm expecting Trump's volatility to stay for the next 4 years.
Oh,
He hasn't
yeah,
been president for 100 days.
I know, I know,
It
but
feels like it feels like years.
yeah, but hey, this is not our first rodeo with Trump. He already had another presidency, and it was like that before. Or right now, all we are experiencing is exactly what he already did. So people shouldn't be too surprised about this. When he became president, like, "Oh, welcome back to Twitter economics."
Well, in my opinion, he's losing a little bit of the power of his word. I think the rumor of the White House is becoming more important than what Trump and Besant and they all are saying. But personal opinion, not financial advice.
No, no. I also agree with you with what you're saying. I mean, people are becoming more like, okay, he's saying this and that, but still, he still has that power and he knows how to use that power. And whether you like him or not, the guy is a very good negotiator and he's doing this as part of negotiations. In a way, hey, he is asking is for people to pay more the price to have access to the biggest market in the world. Doesn't but is it done the best way is the question.
No, that's the thing. It's like he brought every single issue center stage. Not
Mm-hmm.
every single issue can be center stage, but he's
Exactly.
figuring it out. The question is does
Exactly.
he hold? Does he not hold? The uncertainty is at all-time highs, I think.
Yeah.
But I think we are reaching sort of like he has to make a decision. And interesting, I think Trump has a timer that Xi and Putin don't have
Mm-hmm.
because they are long-term holders of power. But Trump has the midterms. He has a population that he has to keep happy, and he potentially wants to run for 2028.
That's gonna be interesting.
The hats. I saw the hats.
Yeah, I
Apparently, he
saw
has
it.
the hats in his things. No,
Yeah, it is.
we
It
don't
is
know
not.
what's gonna happen with Trump. It's only been 100 days. It's only been 100 days, but that's fantastic. Okay, let me ask you a couple of things. Just like snap
Mm-hmm.
on point. It's like if you were 20, do again.
If I were 20, what would I do? Learn about AI 100% since very early on. I had a good friend of mine that he was into AI since very early on, and right now he's doing awesome in his own company. So that is the first thing that I will do. And I will invest in certain stocks when they were very cheap and just keep going.
Buy Nvidia, buy Bitcoin.
And also starting in eToro earlier. When you are one of the early ones, it's a lot easier for you to be even more prominent. Right now, I cannot complain. I have a long tenure. People know me, etc. But if you were even earlier, look at the big guys have been like since forever. Jeppe, Jay, been there since really the beginning. Eloise, all the big ones is also the tenure that helps a lot. So that is something that I will have done.
Okay. It's interesting because it takes me back because I know you like sayings because I got a couple of good sayings from you in the
Okay,
conference. It's when is the best time to plant a tree 20 years ago, but
the
when is
second
the
best is
second
today.
best? Exactly. Right. I
What
knew
would
you
you
knew. I
do?
knew.
What would you
What would I
do?
do?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Like I was wild. And like the thing is just like I was a little bit wild when I was 20, and pay attention more in school. I like try to get quickly out of uni.
Yeah,
Maybe like even stepped away from uni and worked a little bit because uni
yeah.
uni did it for me. Like it took me 7 years to graduate from university,
Okay.
and I barely got my degree. But the thing is just like if like based on all of the like for example like I'm bringing classes like international finance, where we would understand like interest rates and forex, and what the impacts were. I remember the professor's name, Pasula, and I'm like, oh my god, I should have just paid attention a little bit more, and I just would have predicted the interest rate changes. It would have been great. But small little things like that is just like maybe paid a little bit more attention to what I was trying to focus. I just didn't have that much focus. And the cheat things, buy Nvidia, buy Bitcoin when it was outside my flat. They opened up an exchange and it was like sitting at $200. I should have just bought it. It's like, but I didn't.
I have a lot of friends who have stories of buying silly things with Bitcoin just out of it, and then right now they are killing themselves for selling it and things like this. So yeah, you hear a lot of those stories.
Yeah, but you can't do that, because at the end of the day, you got the value for it, whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's the truth. Let me ask you this, and I ask this to everybody.
Yeah.
What's on your desk right now? So what is the thing that you're paying very close attention to? What's next? What's the thing that worries you, maybe, or maybe excites you, because whatever is on your desk?
Well, the thing that I am the most excited right now, or the thing that is a lot of my mind, is energy management, but personal energy, more than time and everything, because right now the amount of information that we are exposed to is insane. Right now, I was reading something that what people learn in the whole life, Middle Ages, is what we learn in one day. So right now the world is going very fast for our brains. I think that one of the things that is the most important, in the past I tried to do good time management, but right now is energy management. Try to do the things you are the best when you have the best energy. And that is a concept that I learned a little bit ago. And yeah, working a lot on that. So right now, that is what is top of my mind, top of my desk. Energy
Yeah,
management, to be
that's
able to
cool.
do all the projects that I have in my mind.
That's very cool, because it's like, like 168, does that number mean anything to you?
The amount of hours you have in a week?
Yeah. And then it's funny enough, because I asked ChatGPT, I was like, okay, like, okay, I have 168, but how many productive hours do you have in a week? And it's like 30 to 40.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So it's like you should use those for your priorities, and then allocate, try to maximize the rest. Interesting. I actually did a time audit, the other day.
No, don't do it. It's awful. But you
Yeah.
should. If you like YouTube, there is this guy Matt Diavela who is absolutely brilliant. He took a hiatus from YouTube. Now he has returned, and the guy is incredible at that. And another one is Ali Abdal, also
Ali Abdal is
incredible.
great. Yeah, Ali Abdal is
Yeah,
great.
I really adore him. But the one who was before Ali, Matt Diavela, really
Diavela.
Matt, cool guy. And he runs a lot of these experiments and about auditing your time and crazy things like that. You will really like him because he has a lot of crazy experiments.
I'll check him out for sure. Like, I was doing it because it's like, and I was thinking about this. It's like, people have budgets for their money.
Yeah.
People have budgets for their companies, have budgets for a lot of things, but the real currency we really own is our time. It's how you use that time. And funny enough, Elon Musk has the same amount of time. Well, actually less time, if we follow parameters and history, but the time that we have, it's 168 hours a week.
Yeah. Yeah,
If you,
absolutely. But you pay the price if you also don't sleep. The guy says he doesn't sleep.
it's the truth.
Eventually you pay the price for that. So I'm wondering about it in the future. Of course, there are people who manage better. I suffer from insomnia actually for a while. Very bad insomnia that I could be for even 3 days in a row with only 2 hours of sleep. And then the fourth day, I slept 10 to 12 hours. That's not a very healthy cycle. And when finally the stress that I was having went away, this was after my dad passed away. When once I started to digest and everything and things improved, I was like, why are the days so short? Because I got used to days of 22 hours. It was very insane. Why is the day so short? So yeah, time management and energy is something that I try to do because I have a lot of things that I want to do, but you need to prioritize and to organize your time and what you want to do.
It's
I'm
the
sorry,
truth.
it's such a long answer.
No, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Let's have a look. Let me ask you this. What was the first asset you ever bought? Do you remember?
First asset I ever bought was actually the cakes from my grandma. Uh,
Nice.
I used to. That was actually my first business. My grandma used to make cakes, and she was very good. So what I did is that I purchased cakes from her, and I sliced it up. Yeah, I think that was the first asset I ever purchased.
Nice. That's a great answer. That's a great answer. Funny enough, my mom used to make cakes, and I used to go around selling them too.
No way, so
Yeah,
cool,
yeah,
Nestor.
yeah.
I didn't know we had so much in common, my friend.
So much is crazy. You
It's
know, it's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which one
Let
was
me
your
have a
favorite cake?
the chocolate cake. Her chocolate cake is nuts. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, people, yeah, yeah. Like I, I had a problem. You know what I mean? Because I would, so there were 8 pieces in a cake,
Mm-hmm.
and I would sell 7,
One
and
for you.
and the last one was for me. So I never got any money from it. You know what I mean? I never got any money from it. I just got a piece of cake. My
Yeah,
mom
but
was like, "You're not supposed to keep the money, Nesta." And I'm like, "But cake's good. Like, you know, make worse cake."
hey, come on, it gives you happiness.
It's true. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it at all. You know. Let me ask you this. So because we're dealing with a little bit of market uncertainty and market crashes, and
Yeah,
and people are panicking, and eToro, you can feel the fear. You can
yeah,
smell it. How do you deal with times like that when you make a mistake in an investment and you have, because you said, okay, maybe don't get attached to losing positions, but
yeah.
how do you deal with that?
Well, first of all, I try to understand why it happened. How can it this make me smarter? But also be extremely respectful because I don't like having this kind of situations, but it will happen. It's impossible as an investor that you are always going to get it right. So that is something that you have to deal with. But I also try to not dwell too much. And that is why it's also good that I'm a person that changes my positions quite often. So I cannot get attached too much to it. I really cannot get attached to it.
So
The
you don't
way
get
that
attached to your positions.
mm-mm, that is,
Nice. Very true. That's very true. I have a position that's, how much am I losing on the Fiverr trade? Let me have a look. It's like such little, like it's such a small trade right now, and I'm holding it for capital gains. But my dad is like, sell it, and I'm like, no, but I still have it.
look, my friend, Don
I'm
Nestor, this is like jeans. If you have to force it, drop it.
It's the truth.
Don't force it. You have
I
drop
love
it.
I love your sayings. I love your sayings. You're the best. Like the thing is, like it's not even that bad, but it was bad at some point. It's like I'm sitting at a 30%, like a 27% loss on it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's like because it was one of the first, like I bought it during 2020, and it was like it roared. You know, like I bought it at 30, like my average open sitting at 35, at 37,
Mm-hmm.
and the price right now is sitting like at 26. Like, but I remember that stock hit 145, and I should have sold it, but I was like, no, I'm gonna keep it for life.
No, Papa.
But it was wrong. It was so wrong. So now it's just like capital gains. It's like I'll take the losses.
Yeah, no, definitely. But you really cannot get too attached. Honestly, I adore when your friends say that. Don't get too in love with your own ideas. Bring new ones. At the same time, be very respectful what you're doing. Have to always keep in mind when you are a popular investor, you are managing other people's money. People have to work hard for that. Always keep that in mind. Every penny that I have, either I sold grandma's cakes, I done a lot of stuff, or I say no to buy things I wanted to buy. So I take a lot of responsibility on that. It's not that I'm also going to go gallivanting in the meadows doing mistakes. Oh, I'm learning. No, no, no. Also, hey,
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
respectful with people's money.
Yeah. No, for me, the thing is just like, so the approach that I have, and for me with eToro, the perception that I have, because eToro is not my main platform.
Yeah.
It's like I have a mimic portfolio of what I own,
Okay.
and I copy paste, so people, it's like it's a way for me to share my ideas and my knowledge with the
Mm-hmm,
community,
mm-hmm.
and it's like, again, both to test whether people agree or disagree.
Yeah.
But I'm like, look, if you want to copy me, great. If you don't want to copy me, great. I don't care. It's like I'm making my money, like my money's made from my investment.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I trade for myself, and I'm like, this is the way that I'm like my hard-earned money, because I agree with you. It's hard-earned money. I have a lot of respect for it, but I am willing to take risks, and I'm willing to go even with a downturn sometimes, because I know that there is.
Of course, but that is good, depending also on the message that you give to people. And that is why it's super important that people the part related to expectations. If people know that you're going to be taking more risks and that is your profile, be very upfront about it and say to people, hey guys, I am more risky person. Are you willing for the ride? Super. That is not me. I am like, hey guys, do you want a more stable? Come here. Welcome to the tribe. That is my idea. And that is important, is that you know what is your value proposition and you be consistent with that value proposition that you're giving to your people. But that is something that I think is missing a lot from eToro. And that is that you should have. It may sort of have it in your bio or something, but hey, what is your value proposition?
Okay. Let me ask you this. Why VIX Gold? Why VIX Gold? Because it's such a
because it sounded cool.
But you know, it's like it's crazy. Like it's so good. It is so good.
Yeah, of course.
It's just because it sounded cool.
Basically,
That's hilarious.
VIX was a super up and coming at the time. And also gold, always a gold credit card, a gold this, a gold that. Actually, I got my first gold credit just because I had a classmate and he was always a very show-off kind of, and he's like, oh, look, we went for dinner and he had his gold credit card. If this guy can have it, I can also have it. And that is why I had my first gold credit card. And it always had this status thing. And that is why I got it, because it sounded cool.
That's very cool.
Right now, if I had a handle, I will do something more similar to me, to my name, like invest with Cata or something like that, because also more warm, more the kind of personality that I have.
That's cool. That's very cool. Because yeah, it's very paradoxical too, I think, right? Like the VIX is like, you know, the fear and greed index, but you have gold, which in theory is safety.
Yeah.
No, it's very cool.
Yeah, maybe also subconscious, eh?
Yeah. It's the truth, you know. Maybe like it's like, yeah, maybe sometimes we understand that there is risk, and sometimes we got to be a little bit defensive. So maybe you can play. Yeah, you could use.
Yeah, there are many ways to use it.
Let me ask you 2 more questions, and I'll let you go.
No problem. It's been a pleasure talking to you, either way.
It's the same. You're fantastic.
Let
me ask you this: what was the last thing you learned that you think people should know about?
Well, today
it could be anything.
Today I was learning a lot about LLMs and how they learned from a client that I was talking before. But yeah, a lot about AI. That is what I'm learning a lot every day. I think it's critical right now to learn about AIs, because we will not be replaced by AIs, but we will be replaced by people that do know how to use AI.
You know, I said this in the podcast today. We were in a world, so it was interesting because you said in the medieval ages, knowledge was very scarce.
Yeah.
Only the monasteries had the knowledge and the books, and it was the only way it was by speaking. Like transfer knowledge. And we went to an era where now communication was instantaneous. You could be anywhere in the world and I could contact you really quickly with the invention of the phone and the cell phone. And then we went into having an encyclopedia in our pockets, and we've been able to have the most abundant world that we've ever seen in the world with this new technology. But now we have the smartest person in every single field at our fingertips. So imagine what the big names could, and imagine what you can do having access to that knowledge quickly. Before, you had to even there was a little bit of friction. That friction is becoming frictionless. Exactly. Of just being able to access the knowledge quickly. So AI is going to revolution. I'm in the AI boom fully. And Google had earnings today, and they were fantastic. So because that's the other thing.
That's good. I'm happy because I love Google quite a lot. I mean, as a company Google and everything, I have always been a big fan.
Correct. So yeah. And then the last one, what was one belief about investing that changed your life?
Actually, it's going to come from a very unusual place. Rich Dad, Poor Dad book. That your house is not necessarily an asset, quite the opposite. Because actually, unless you treat it as an investment, it can be quite a drainage of money.
Correct. A lot of people, like their biggest purchase is their house for many people.
Yeah.
People don't realize that sometimes renting is even better.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything is a nuisance on how you do it. An investment. Oh my gosh, that was a huge thunder just passing by. What is going on today? It's like the
Colombia,
whole world.
Right now, Colombia is showing.
I mean, OMG, even for me, this is like, okay, you want Latin America? Again.
Colombia wants to be in the episode.
Absolutely. Absolutely, my goodness gracious. This is the biggest storm I have seen in ages, Nestor. But anyway, you investing, if something is not putting money on your pocket, it's not an asset, it's a liability. And that is the first thing when I learned that in that book, it really changed me. Like, whoa, something is putting money in your pocket is liability. It really blew my mind.
Nice. That's true. That's very true. Anything else you want to add? Anything you want to share with the community?
Well, this is fun. This has been fun. This is a lot more fun than I expected, to be quite honest. So
like, I want to get to know people. I want to understand, because the thing is just like every single person I met on eToro, even the five guys I'm with on Market Buzz, like we're so different. We have some similarities, and we have, for example, Mimi and Timothy with crypto. Even Akeem. Akeem is going nuts. Akeem is going into crypto too. It's crazy. And the thing is, just like now that we're talking, we're like getting intertwined with the assets, which is hilarious. Like Mimi bought Walmart because Dimitri, is like selling it. It's also changing, but it's like we have such different perspective towards the same goal, which is like asset growth and personal finance and a freedom that it generates from understanding money. The reason the reason I wanted to understand money after I graduated university was like, okay, like now I'm going to do, like I've done university for 7 years. It took me forever. Like, and I got a bachelor's degree. I have. Why am I trying to get as much as I can? Why do people always chase this paper or this fictitious thing that in reality is just a means of transaction of labor and assets and different things? The more I understood it, the more I was like, okay, like maybe this is not the path. Maybe this is the path. And started investing 2017 as well. I think you've been doing it longer than me for sure, but on eToro, you've been since 2017, so you have a massive.
Thank you. There is a lot of love and thought behind it, and actually, very good definition I once learned about earning money is that you earn money is based on the value that you create. So I try to create value to people. Definitely, I try to do it, and there are many different ways and instruments to do that. But I really want to create value and to give stability to people in a nice, helpful, relaxed way. Quite the opposite to the storm that I'm having out there.
That's okay. The markets are going crazy. Everything in Colombia is making noise. Way it should be, living la vida loca.
It's April. It's a rainy season.
But Vix Gold is calm, relaxed, and enjoying her sleep because her portfolio is solid. It's profitable when the markets are going crazy, so that's all good,
Yeah, and I'm a person that if you see, I usually have a big smile on my face. It's very rare not to see me like that. When actually, oh my God, this is gonna sound.
It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be
this
loud.
is gonna be loud.
That's so great. That's so great.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
And I think that you do that when, honestly, do the things that you do with love. Do it with your heart. Quereme, ponle quereme. You have to do that in everything that you do, and things start to work and they start to work around. That is something that I put a lot in my investing.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Like that last little bit is very good because it's like it shows the craziness of markets and the calmness that you provide, which is hilarious.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a land of contrast. I couldn't have, I ordered this storm for this podcast,
Awesome. Always the best here. It's always the best. That's awesome. Well, Catalina, thanks so much.
No, thank you.
Wow. That's so
no, it's a big one. It's a big storm.
Wow. I hope everything is okay. I hope the house don't fly.
No. I'm right now on a 30th floor, so it's okay.
So that's why we're next to it.
Yeah, no. It's a big building later on when the storm subsides. I'm going to send you a picture so you see more or less where I am right now.
For sure. Send it for sure. Have a good one.